And I think one of the things we need to emphasize more than anything else during the holidays is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how do you grow in contentment? And what does that mean? What does it mean to be content, especially in the culture that we live in today? Over the last couple of weeks, I've been collecting these, and probably you've been getting them as well. Does anybody know what I've got here in my hands? They're catalogs, Christmas catalogs. I mean, from every kind of business imaginable. I mean, I don't even shop at these stores. Not in the physical store, not even in the internet store, you know. I don't even go to these stores. And yet they, somehow or another, they find your address, right? They figure out where you live. I don't know how they do that. I mean, you know, they must know everything about us. And then eventually, you start getting these. And probably you've been getting, what, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 5 a day over the last couple of weeks. How many of you have been getting these magazines? Yeah. And what are these supposed to do? These are intended to give us the I have to haves. Right? I mean, you're looking through these nice magazines and I want that. You know, the nice color, whatever it is, and you say, oh, I've got to have this. You know, and that's what those magazines are intended to do, is to create that desire within us. And so you go out and you spend all kinds of money that you don't have to impress a lot of people that you don't even like. Right? I mean, now don't misunderstand me. I really believe that God put within all of us a desire to acquire. I believe that. I really do. He put that within us. I mean, you look at the world, look at the creation around you, and everything around you shows you that. Have you ever watched a squirrel work? What does a squirrel do? A squirrel goes out and tries to acquire more and more nuts. You know, they just are building their nest with more and more nuts. They're out there picking up nuts everywhere. Have you ever watched a crow or a magpie? What do they do? They collect these little shiny baubles, you know, these nice shiny things, and they see something sparkle, you know. You ever see something sparkle and say, oh, I've got to have that? That's what we're called nowadays. We're called magpies. Yeah, a person who collects shiny things, you know, knickknacks and what have you, they're called magpies. Because magpies have this desire to collect these things. And I believe that God gave us that desire. He planted it within us. The problem is that when the desire for things becomes greater than our desire for God, then we're going to have serious problems in our life. Serious problems. The Bible calls that desire to acquire, when it gets above your desire for God, the Bible calls it greed. The Bible calls it envy. The Bible calls it coveting. The Bible calls it idolatry even. See, it's not just something that's in the Old Testament, it's throughout the entire Bible. In fact, this desire to acquire, today, it's big business. People are cashing in on that. In fact, you probably have seen television programs, you know, where people are hoarders. I think there's a TV program called Hoarders. I mean, it's an illness, it's a sickness. It's something that people just are totally out of control in. I mean, you can't even walk through their homes because they've got so much stuff. They just keep accumulating and acquiring and gathering more and more, collecting more and more. We've got programs out there that have gone into business just on the fact that people are collectors. They're hoarders. And when you begin to acquire more and more, and that gets out of control, and you want things more than you want God, you desire things more than you desire God, that's when you're going to have all kinds of problems in your life. Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 30. Do you see that top of your notes? Let's read it out loud. It says this: it's healthy to be content, but envy can eat you up. It's healthy in every way to be content. It's healthy physically, it's healthy mentally, it's healthy socially, relationally, it's healthy spiritually. It's healthy to be content. But when you have this desire just to have more and more and more, and it gets out of control, and it goes beyond your desire for the things of God, then it's going to start eating you up. It'll eat you up physically. It'll eat you up emotionally. It'll eat you up financially and spiritually. I mean, think about it. I mean, let's just go back a couple of days to Thanksgiving Day. And let's be honest. Let's just do a little survey here, and let's be honest, and I'm going to include myself in this. How many of you went back for seconds? Come on, be honest. How many went back for seconds? Some of you, all right, we all probably did it. You know, we've done that at some time or another, maybe some Thanksgiving or another. I know I did. Some of you might have even gone back for thirds. I don't want to embarrass you, okay? You don't have to raise your hand. You don't have to do that, Ephraim. And so it has an effect on us. And what's the effect? Well, we gain weight, right? Our clothes don't fit. You know, so what do we have to do? We have to go out and buy more clothes to put in the closet where we already have clothes that don't fit us, right? And try to find more space for the new clothes that we have with the old clothes that don't fit us. And then over a period of time when you're doing that, your blood pressure goes up because you're gaining weight. You have to go to the doctor because, you know, things aren't going right physically for you. So you have to have blood pressure medication, you know, you have to take that every day. And then if it gets really, really bad, you have to go in and get roto-rooted, you know, because they drill out all of the plaque and all of the junk, you know, that you've been putting in there, you know, over the years. And so it's not healthy. It's not healthy. It will literally eat you up. How do you know if you are struggling with contentment? Well, just look in your closet. Have you run out of space for clothing? Have you run out of space for shoes? Listen, if you got more than 5 pairs of shoes in your closet, you're struggling with contentment. Just telling you. Dina? It's the kind of thing, you know, that you're struggling with if you're constantly going out and buying stuff on an impulse. You see it and it's on sale. Oh, I have to have it. Not just one, but a dozen. I like that plate. I like that shirt. I like that whatever. And so you don't buy just one, you buy a dozen because they're on sale. Or here's a way you can know if you're struggling with contentment. You're watching television, and all of a sudden an infomercial comes on TV, and you go, oh, I've got to have that. How many of you said that before? I've got to have that. Watching that infomercial, you go, oh, isn't that the coolest thing? I've got to have one of those. Hi, my name is Mark. I'm a struggler. Aren't you? Aren't you? I mean, if you live in Southern California, in this culture, you struggle with contentment, period. That's just the way it is. We all struggle with that. Today I brought a box with me. You know what's in this box? You know what's in this box? What's in this box is all the stuff you think is important. And every time you move from one apartment to another, or from one house to another, you took this box with you. Now, some of you have boxes still in your garage or in your storage unit that still haven't been unpacked. But the next time you move, you're just going to take that box and you're just going to take it to the next place. Put it in your garage, or if you rent out a room in your garage, you'll get another storage unit, and it'll remain there unpacked. You won't even open it. But you think it's important because you think that one day I might need this. One day I might be able to use this. You're sick. Get rid of the box. Toss the box. Stop thinking that way, because that is a struggle with contentment. Look what it says in Ecclesiastes 4:6. It is better to be content with what little you have. Otherwise, you will what? Always be struggling for more. That's our culture today, folks. And I think we're coming into this holiday season, you know, with Christmas arriving and what have you. And this is what our culture is going to be pushing on us. You got to have this. You got to have that. You've got to have more. Go out and buy this. Go out and buy that. And God says, it's better to be content with what little you have. Otherwise, you will always be struggling for more. Circle that word or that phrase, be content. Be content.